everybody, it's Reckless and welcome to Bringing the Fourth Wall. So, in this video, what I actually want to do is talk about the top 7 changes that I feel Bungie should actually do in Destiny 2. But before we get into the video, if you guys enjoy it, hitting that like button will be greatly appreciated. So as of right now, this series is a 3-part series, but I have been working on a 4th. And if you guys actually have any ideas for what you guys think that Bungie should actually change or implement in Destiny 2, by all means, hey, leave a comment in below. I'll read it. I'll go over it. As long as it's, realistic, then I will actually put it in my part 4 and maybe even a part 5 if we get that far. Real quick, so you guys know, any teabagging in this video is actually done to a friend of mine who actually joined this match late, and he was actually put on the opposite team. So, do not get offended. Now, there has been a lot of talk and speculation that Destiny 2 will be announced at this year's PlayStation Experience, which is in December 2016. However, I and a whole bunch of other people think that that is way too soon for them to announce Destiny 2. They may or may not, but I am looking more towards E3 2017 when they will actually announce Destiny 2. Now let's get onto the list, starting with number 1, which is to standardize 60 FPS. Given that the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is already out, and I already did a video on that, if you guys would like to check that out, I'll put a link to that in the description below, and the Xbox Scorpio, which is supposed to release sometime in 2017, hitting 60 frames per second should not be hard for either of those systems to actually do. In short, the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox Scorpio are the previous generation, which is the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, on steroids, and like mega steroids. The PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox Scorpio both have higher clock speeds, better graphics, better power consumption, as well as they both have higher teraflops. Now, with all that said, hitting 60 frames per second should not be a hard thing for either of these consoles to do. It should actually be easier, especially if they're trying to just do it in 1080p. But given that the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox Scorpio are both aimed at 4K, I would love to see, both of those 60 frames per second at 4K. But who knows if that'll actually happen. So as of right now, being a standardized 60 frames per second on anything as higher than 720p, which would be 1080 and above, is pretty much good for me. And because the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox Scorpio should easily be able to handle 60 FPS, this brings me to my number 2, which is connection-based matchmaking over skill-based matchmaking. Now, I understand Bungie actually went over this earlier this week in one of their weekly updates, but let's actually go over what they actually said. So, they said, quote, "First, we identify a pool of available players with a good connection to you. Within that pool, we choose players closely matched to your personal skill rating. If we can't find players within that pool, we widen the variance in skill. If that doesn't work, we expand the search engine with more variance in connection quality. Once enough players are selected, we break them out into equally skilled teams." And they also added a note which say, "Skill is not a factor in Trial of Osiris. You are matched against players with good connections and similar scorecards." I'm gonna call bullshit on that, entirely. Now, I just read it, and Bungie did say that they go for connection first and skill second. However, that's not the case. That's definitely not the case with what we deal with on an everyday basis playing Crucible. Now, don't be shy. Raise your hand if you've ever been in a Crucible match that was extremely laggy. Okay, that's a lot of hands. Now, raise your hand if in those matches, that guy who had the worst connection was the guy who got the most kills. Okay, even more hands. Oh, we're not done. Now raise your hand if you knew 100% that you killed somebody but it didn't register for another, I don't know, 5 seconds. And there you go. The hands have it. The system that Bungie actually uses right now is not connection-based matchmaking at all. And that's what it really needs to be. Now, I understand Bungie doesn't want to do connection-based matchmaking because they don't want to put you up against teams that are going to demolish you. But hey, you learn. You really do. People demolish you when, you know, it's supposed to be skill-based matchmaking, and then they just, no. Make it 100% connection-based matchmaking. Now, let's move on to number 3. And my friends, number 3 is the storyline. Wait, you mean like an actual storyline? Yes, an actual storyline. However, it has been said that Bungie is bringing in other studios in order to help with Destiny 2. And hey, I'm all for it. That's great. However, when it comes to the storyline, we don't want the same storyline for each character. You know, the Hunter, Titan, and Warlock each have the same storyline in Destiny right now. How about we change things up a little bit and have individual storylines that connect with each other? That would be an awesome addition to the game, and people would actually like that. You know, a Titan has their own storyline, a Warlock has their own storyline, and a Hunter has their own. I mean, that would make a lot of people want to play more, wouldn't it? But don't just stop at a storyline for each character. Give us options. Let us choose the path that we want to walk with our characters. Doing that, I feel, will give us a better connection to our characters. Number 4 is character recustomization. Plus, give us more options. Now, what I mean by recustomization is, for example, how many times have you just made a character in Destiny just to make a character, didn't care what it looked like, put anything on it, and then later on realized, my character looked ugly as fuck? I know I've done it. You know, that plus how many times have you walked inside the tower or any social space and actually had, you know, some other guy who had the same exact look on their Guardian as you did? You know, that doesn't make for customization, you know, to be like your own thing when somebody else, or at least several somebody else's, have the same look as your character does. On top of that, give us more options for the hair, eye, facial features, marks, tattoos, etc. You know, let us make these characters our own with so many different options. And that actually includes the voice options, because if I'm correct, every male Titan actually sounds the same, and every female Awoken also sounds the same. You know, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people out there who would love to do voiceovers, you know, even for free, especially for Destiny. I know I would. And it's like, have those people do different voices. That way we have more to choose from. So the next 3 changes are actually pretty simple ones. Number 5 is a higher look sensitivity. Now, Destiny currently has the highest sensitivity at 10, but if you have played Call of Duty or Battlefield, you would know that the sensitivity actually goes a lot higher than that. And a 10 sensitivity in Destiny is like a 6 sensitivity in Call of Duty. And the majority of the latest Call of Duties go up to at least 20. And I'm actually used to playing on 15 to 17 sensitivity when it comes to Call of Duty. Not really much of a Battlefield fan, but hey, whatever. So giving us that higher look sensitivity would be great. Number 6 would be custom button layouts. Now, Destiny does not have custom button layouts. They have presets. I'm not sure if they have 6 or 8, but either way, just like, again, Call of Duty or Battlefield, they allow you to have custom button layouts where you actually go into the game, choose which button you want to do what, and there you go. You can do it individually by buttons. You know, that's what an actual custom button layout is. Now, I do know that the PlayStation 4, and I'm pretty sure the Xbox as well, allows you to change the buttons internally through the system. And the only issue with that is it's not the same buttons that you're used to when it comes to the menus and everything. So an in-game custom button layout is great. And this brings us to number 7, which is the ability to transfer kiosk items. Now, it has been said that we may or may not be allowed to transfer our Guardians from Destiny to Destiny 2. However, in the event that they do not allow us to do that, the ability to transfer kiosk items like emblems, shaders, sparrows, masks, ships, emotes, etc., and maybe even ghost shells would be a great addition to starting Destiny 2. And the reason being that is we put a lot of time, effort, and actual physical money in Destiny to, just lose all of that. And a lot of people would just, leave Destiny and play Destiny 2, just because it's the newest thing out there. So let me know in the comments whether you guys agree or disagree with any of this. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of the video. Thank you guys for all of your support. Feel free to share, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. That way you guys can stay up to date with all of my videos. I'm Reckless, and remember, own your success, and I will see you guys next time.